Everybody. Welcome to the Portsmouth School Committee meeting of Tuesday, January 13th. If you please rise with me for the call to order and a pledge of allegiance. Tonight's moment of silence will be what a melodious voice. So, are we good? Never had that happen before. Thank you. Tonight's moment of silence is going to be in honor of a long-term Portsmouth School District employee, Christine Ann Bowler. Was an RBT who worked at the elementary, the middle, the high school, was a unified sports coach, and who recently passed away. So we'll have a moment of silence in honor of her. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. Prior to this meeting, we had an executive session. There was one vote taken on A3 matters regarding security. The vote was 6-0 in favor. We recessed the executive session and we will go back into exec after this meeting, after the public meeting. So we will seal the minutes after that. For chairperson's remarks, for roll call, please note that Ms. Kelly is unable to join us tonight. Otherwise, everybody here is present. If we have an emergency, there's 2 doors through the side there, one back here, and we meet over at the school admin building. A couple of updates. School committee members, the date has been set for the UCOA financial training. That will be February 9th from 2 to 3 p.m. It's an online Zoom training, so if you're able to join in, that would be great. And then the second thing is the superintendent evaluation timeline I put up for your perusal and any comments at the last meeting. I said I would put together a timeline that reflected what we did in the past. I've shared that timeline with Dr. Vivera. She made a couple of changes, but essentially it's, I think you've seen if you've looked at it, pretty much what we've done in the past. If there's any concerns with that, now's a good time to share it. Otherwise, we'll be off and running on that. Okay, good. All right, subcommittee updates. There are 2 district building committee meeting updates, one from December 10th and one from January 12th. The December 10th bathrooms were completed at the middle school. We've added a partition at the bathroom in the high school cafeteria as part of enhancement to that project. And most importantly, at the January 12th District Building Committee meeting, which was yesterday, there was a unanimous recommendation from the District Building Committee to forward to the school committee tonight the Stage 2 capital plan for approval and submission to RIDE. The February meeting will not be held for the District Building Committee and will reconvene in March. Mr. Fox, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then January 5th, Policy Subcommittee, Ms. McDade.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland. Yes, this policy subcommittee met on January 5th. We had 2 policies that we discussed. The first was JE on student attendance and truancy. The second was KHB on advertising in schools. We passed both of those along to the full committee, but I believe we're changing our minds about one of them and sending it back to the subcommittee later. In addition to that, we began reviewing the old, you'll recall, the administrative team came up with a spreadsheet that allows us to easily access all our policies and look at when they were created and when they were last updated. And so we started the process of looking at some of the really old policies. And I think we're all going to enjoy that because there were a lot of things that were very out of date. So we have a list of policies today in our consent agenda that we were able to just recognize as either not relevant or covered in other policies or whatever. So that was a good process, and it was a productive meeting.
Very good. Thank you very much. And now, Dr. Viveris, one of our favorite things to do, recognize people.
Excellent, thank you. Right, we've got a slide deck for that. All right, here we go. So we're going to start with Mrs. Liz Stack. So on December 19th, as students were passing in the hallway at Hathaway, a kindergarten student began to choke. The student immediately sought help, and without a moment's hesitation, kindergarten teacher Mrs. Liz Stack responded. Mrs. Stack provided appropriate medical assistance and successfully cleared the student's airway. We're incredibly grateful for Mrs. Stack's courage and her commitment to the safety and well-being of our students. Tonight, we want to publicly thank and recognize Mrs. Stack for her heroic actions and for the compassion she brings to her job every single day. The child and her family are here with us this evening to help thank Mrs. Stack. Thank you. Okay. All right, next up. So each year, the National Federation of State High School Associations honors coaches across the country for their excellence, leadership, and dedication to student athletes. This recognition reflects not only success in competition, but also the positive impact a coach has on their program and athletes. I am proud to congratulate Miss Lisa Zabel, who has been selected as the 2024-2025 NFHS Rhode Island Coach of the Year for girls volleyball by the Rhode Island Interscholastic League. This honor recognizes Coach Zabel's professionalism, leadership, and commitment to both the athletes and everyone off court. So we congratulate you, Ms. Zabel, and we'd like to recognize you. This is really, all three of them are. It really will be. So it's an honor to recognize one of our student athletes this evening whose accomplishments have brought tremendous pride to the Portsmouth community and the state of Rhode Island. This fall, Sean delivered one of the most remarkable cross-country seasons our district has ever seen. He began by capturing the New Jersey Shore Coaches Invitational Championship, competing against elite athletes from New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. He then made history right here at home by becoming the RIIL Cross Country State Champion, the first Portsmouth boy ever to earn that title. But he didn't stop there. Sean went on to win the CNESSPA New England Cross Country Championship, becoming the first Portsmouth student ever to do so. In that race, he ran the third fastest time in course history. At the Nike Cross Country Northeast Regional Championship, he once again made history as the first Portsmouth athlete to win the title, running the second fastest time in course history against competitors from 8 states across the Northeast. These accomplishments earned him a spot at the Nike Cross Country National Championship, where he finished 15th in the nation, earning All-American status. This performance ties the best finish ever by Rhode Island athlete in a field of over 200 runners, including 38 state champions from across the country. Beyond the medals and the records, Sean represents the very best of Portsmouth: dedication, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. So congratulations, Sean. We are all so proud of you. So impressive. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I really, really just have to say, I mean, what a spectrum, right? So thank you all for making Portsmouth proud every which way, I think, right?
Yeah.
So you're welcome to stay for the whole meeting, but if you'd like to go home, we totally understand as well. But thank you so much for letting us take a minute to honor you, and congratulations all.
Thank you.
One more round of applause for everybody. Bye, Liz. That's pretty amazing. I mean, really,
Yes.
when you think about it.
It really
it's-
is.
All right, no public comment up there I saw, nothing online. All right, I don't have to read the public comment part. PHS liaisons, welcome. Tell us what all's going on at the high school. Just make sure the green light's on.
Okay. My name is Holly Doyle. I'm the vice president of the class of 2028.
My name is Quinn Sweeney. I'm a representative for the class of 2028.
So on December 11th, the band and chorus held their winter holiday performance. The event packed the auditorium and everyone did an excellent job.
Also, just before the break at lunch, we collectively recognized Mr. Braga, the high school dishwasher. After over 11 years in the district, Mr. Braga retired. We thought it was important to show thanks for all his hard work, so we took pictures and Dr. Heath presented him with a gift to wish him well.
And then since returning from break, several juniors are participating in a mathnasium ramp up in preparation for the upcoming SAT test in March.
We've also had several student choice events at lunch to try different foods.
And then at last night's boys basketball game versus North Kingstown, Adam Canini was recognized at halftime as Portsmouth's new all-time leading scorer in basketball. He currently has over 1,400 points with more than half of his seasons still to go. His total has already surpassed the last high scorer by over 100 points.
Read-throughs and rehearsals have just begun for the spring musical Mean Girls. The performance is set to be held in early March, so we're looking forward to that.
And the ski and snowboard club went on the Killington trip, and they also have the J Peak trip coming up at the end of the month.
A bunch of the classes at the high school held bake sales over the past few weeks and collaborated with local businesses.
And we've seen a huge rise in numbers for blood donations during the blood drive. We had 33 donate, and that saved 90 lives.
Towards the end of February, the freshman and sophomore class will be hosting a winter formal.
And right now, the students are preparing for midterms, and the Portsmouth Public Library is open leading up to midterms and during the week for studying for students.
Model UN hosted Patriot Mon. They had 65 kids, which is the largest they've ever had. Kids from all over the state had to create all the different rooms and stories that the students had to play.
And lastly, the school store ordered the first inventory with the FBLA club and Mr. Denard's entrepreneurship class. And there will be a soft opening at basketball games and hockey games the last week before February break. That's it.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you guys are in training for like doing it full time in a year or two, right? Okay, good. Thank you for coming, but you don't have to stay the whole meeting. All right, moving on to Superintendent's update, Dr. Viveras.
Thank you. This might be the first time my updates aren't exactly the same as the high school students, so that works out great. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with our personnel updates for this month. We're welcoming 2 new hires, a paraprofessional at PMS and a general school aide at Melville. We received a resignation from a special education teacher at our high school and a clerical retirement from Hathaway. We have a few new additions to our winter coaching staff, 2 high school basketball assistant coaches, a high school basketball volunteer coach, and a high school indoor track volunteer coach. That's our personnel updates. All right, now for our district updates. Kindergarten registration already will open for the class of 2039. I'll pause there, right? On February 2nd, families can get started online by visiting our district website and clicking on the kindergarten registration tab under the registration tab. To complete the process, families will stop by Portsmouth Middle School during one of our March registration sessions to bring in required documents. No appointments will be needed, and if the online forms are completed ahead of time, the visit should only take about 10 to 15 minutes. We're excited to welcome our newest Portsmouth students and look forward to partnering with our new families. And the dates and times are all there. So Tuesday, March 3rd, Wednesday, March 4th, and Tuesday, March 10th. On Thursday, February 5th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., we invite our Portsmouth 8th grade families and 8th and 9th grade families from across Rhode Island to explore Portsmouth High School's career and technical education offerings. With 7 CTE academies, including engineering, bioscience, digital media, business, visual arts, education, and music production, students will have the opportunity to explore their interests. At our open house, families will tour the school and have an opportunity to meet with teachers and students involved in all of our academies. Okay. We currently have a few employment opportunities in the Portsmouth School Department that I wanted to bring attention to. We have a clerical B position at Hathaway School, a 1-year special education position at the high school, a long-term special education substitute at the middle school. We are also looking for substitute teachers, custodians, and nurses. And right now, we have a particular need for school nurse substitutes. So if there's anyone out there in our community interested and you are a registered nurse, please apply using our School Spring application process. If you're not familiar with that process, please call central office and we can walk you through that. This slide outlines the timeline for hiring our deputy superintendent. So as promised, I'm bringing that before the committee. We're going to begin by posting this position on February 23rd, which will officially open the application period. The screening committee will convene the week of March 13th to review applications and identify candidates for interviews. If all goes well, the first round of interviews will be scheduled for the week of March 30th. Final interviews of the top candidates will be held the week of April 6th, allowing the committee to make their final assessments. I would like to have my selection made and a contract ready for review and approval at our April 14th school committee meeting. This timeline ensures a structured, transparent hiring process, allowing us to select the best candidate and allowing the candidate to have time to notify their district. Okay. So our strategic plan, new to us this year, we now have an easy way for families to see our strategic plan progress. I wanted to share a few steps to help you navigate to the website. This is an image of our district website. In the top right corner, there's a link now that says strategic plan webpage. Once you click on that link, it's going to take you to a page, the page down in the left corner, where you can toggle between our district priorities. Then, if you look on the right, it's an image of what one of the individual priority pages will look like. This one here is our staff wellness and development. Here you're going to see our district priority in that area, the measurements that we've put in place through our strategic plan. And the links below will bring you to the middle of the year results. This can be done for all of our priorities, and all of these links are live and available on our website now. So we were notified towards the end of this past calendar year that Boys Town Portsmouth will no longer be accepting students as of January 1st. I want to start by thanking Boys Town for a strong partnership since the Portsmouth campus was open in 2005. We've worked collaboratively with Boys Town to service many students with our schools, elementary through high school. The closure of the Portsmouth campus will have a financial impact on our district budget as we currently receive $510,000 annually in group home aid. So these are certainly discussions that we're having in our budget meetings right now. Here are some important upcoming events. January 14th, we have early release day. Students will be dismissed an hour early. There will be no school on Monday, January 19th, in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. January 26th is our town council meeting, which will hopefully be voting on stage 2 capital submission. We're going to be discussing this submission later on in our meeting. And last, but certainly not least, January is designated. Ready? January is designated as National School Committee Recognition Month, recognizing the dedication of our committee members who volunteer their time and expertise to ensure that the schools thrive and students succeed. On behalf of all of us in the PSD community, thank you to our members for all that you do, for our students, and for the entire Portsmouth community. We are so fortunate to have such a supportive group of individuals. To celebrate our amazing committee, we have a special video and some special cards shared from our elementary students. Action. Thank you. We're so grateful for your partnership. That concludes my updates.
Well, thank you. And we have to say a special thank you to all those Hathaway students who write better thank you notes than my kids do.
And I do
But they're
believe the cards are a
adorable cards
combination
too.
for 2 schools. No, okay, all right.
So that's very kind. Any questions
you.
on superintendent's update, comments? No? Great, thank you so much. All right, great. Oh, now on to one of our main events for the night, the presentation of our school department stage 2 capital improvement plan. Dr. Viveras.
So this evening, we welcome our architectural partner, Phil Conti from Studio Jade, to present our Stage 2 capital improvement plan for the committee's review and action. We have quite the team that has been working really hard to put together what I think is an excellent plan. So, Mr. Conti, take it away.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Joining me this evening is Erica Schechner from the Peregrine Group, as well as, who's not here this evening, Manuel Cordera from the Civic Group, our educational facilities planner. Next slide. We have a brief agenda, but I want to go through it carefully in case many of you are not aware of the process that we've gone through. But I do want to familiarize yourself again with the RIDE process, the necessity of school construction, which will include a discussion on the proposed projects and the cost estimates, as well as the proposed financing plan. We'll review the schedule, and we will be looking for, later on this evening, a motion to approve the submission to RIDE. Next slide. So the RIDE process for the necessity of school construction is 2 stages. Stage 1 has already been approved. That's where we identify the need of the district. Stage 2 identifies the proposed solution to that need. That establishes eligibility for reimbursement, and it focuses on the project types and the cost and the priorities within the district. That stage 2 is due February 15th. It requires a recommendation from the school building committee that we received yesterday, a school committee approval to submit, as well as a town council approval to submit. Next slide. So the stage 2 is a voluminous document. It has a number of sections that we provide information on. The ones that are highlighted in red are the ones that have been provided to you, and for all intent and purpose, they are the most important part. It's Part 1, which is the project summary and the prioritization. It identifies what the projects are and their costs. And then the next most important one is the financing plan. How would Portsmouth proceed in financing this capital improvement? So the proposed projects for Hathaway and Melville are about the same. We want to address some site work conditions, some deficiencies there, as well as address some of the building controls. If you recall, Hathaway and Melville were heavily invested in the last capital campaign, which was very successful. Next is the middle school, which is the largest component of this stage 2. It includes a complete roof replacement, which is desperately in need. We saw what happened at the high school. We certainly want to avoid that again. Additionally, there's site improvements at the middle school. But more importantly, we're looking at what we're calling a pilot project, which is the 8th grade portion of the middle school. If you are familiar with the middle school, it is a building that was designed for a much different way of teaching and learning, one that is not as effective today. Certainly doesn't support the curriculum and the program that you want to have and advance. The middle school is a large building, so to tackle it all at once really might not be attainable. And the cost to build a new middle school would result in a building that would be much smaller. RIDE would not support the amount of square footage that you currently have. The middle school has good bones, but needs a significant amount of work and has not been updated with the exception of the media center and the auditorium, the bathroom project that we just did. You'll see some images this evening that really date the middle school, and if you haven't gone through it, you really should. Additionally, there's some minor work that would help improve some functions that the administration is looking for, such as relocating the nurse and creating some space for the social emotional health spaces. Next slide is the high school. So the high school, there's a variety of projects there. The high school also received a significant investment in the last campaign where we air conditioned the field house and did a significant amount of site work there. However, there is some remaining roof work that needs to be done. Continued site improvements, such as site lighting. We have a nice approach up Memorial Drive, but we really want to extend that a little farther to the field house. Facilities, as mentioned, there are select HVAC units that should be replaced. The restrooms, we've renovated a number of them at the high school. Some remain, areas B and G on the second floor, as well as looking at some of the replacements of select science labs. Not all the science labs. There has been work done in the science labs recently, but there are 2 science labs in particular where the space is constrained with island sinks and cabinetry that is beyond its useful life. We really want to refresh, renovate, and make that much more flexible space for the curriculum there. And then there is some select work in the childhood development CTE spaces. CTE is very important at the high school. We want to extend that level of refresh to as many spaces as possible. So in summary, what does that break down per school? About 1.3 million at the Hathaway, about $1 million at Melville, 29 million at the middle school, and 9 million at the high school, for approximately 40 million. We're going to go through each one of these in a little bit more detail, but this is the amount for the submission to RIDE for the stage 2. It's very important that you understand that does not have a direct relationship to whatever the town council may elect to bond for. What we are seeking is eligibility for reimbursement. We want to be eligible for as much reimbursement as possible over the next 5 years in the event you find some grant money. We want to have projects that are approved at each one of these schools so that you can maximize your reimbursement. We're going to come back to this slide a number of times. Moving on to the middle school. So this is a floor plan of the middle school. Those red boxes identify the areas of work. The 2 smaller red boxes represent the nurse and social emotional spaces that we want to reconfigure. The larger red box in the bottom right-hand corner identifies the 8th grade wing. What I want you to focus on here is that if you look at the wings, in particular, the one in the upper right-hand corner and the one in the lower left-hand corner, and certainly the one we're working on, you see there are a number of interior classrooms. These rooms are limited, obviously, to daylight. They are continuously interrupted by students and staff trying to get to the outer classrooms. And this was a configuration that is really no longer applicable to today's teaching and learning standards, and certainly where Portsmouth wants to be relative to its neighbors. Next slide are just a couple pictures of the middle school. You are familiar with how it looks, quite dated. Not a very pleasant space to be in, if you ask me. Next slide, the classrooms. Jay and his group do the best they can there, but certainly compared to your neighbors, this is below par. Hopefully, people have seen the good work that was recently done and just the simple bathroom project. In speaking with Jay yesterday, he did comment that the students have recognized the effort that you have put into this building, and they have appreciated and respected it more. We certainly want to extend that to a complete area of the building. Next slide. This is the corner of the building that we talked about that we were working in. What I want you to focus on is that area that is beyond the blue outline. That is a 4-classroom new addition. And the area bound by the red line is the area that we would renovate. The reason why we need to put a small addition on at this time is so that we are able to manage the enrollment and structure the 8th grade in a wing by itself. So in the future, you could imagine the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade each have their own suites of spaces with the appropriate rooms for team teaching and the curriculum that the middle school has. We're very proud that when we are able to take those 2 classrooms that were stacked on top of each other and combine them into one, we are able to introduce into each classroom this small breakout room, which is immediately accessible from the classroom, so that either a small group could be brought in there, pulled out, push in for some additional educational support. These rooms now at over 900 square feet are actually aligning with the RIDE guidelines. And I can tell you, even from doing new construction, we are unable to meet those guidelines because of the costs of construction, et cetera. So the classrooms are always made smaller and smaller. But you have the ability, because of the existing middle school, to actually achieve what is expected and go beyond with this additional breakout room, which is going to give the staff much more flexibility. Additionally, off the corridor, you see we're able to introduce small rooms for conferencing or other uses. Next slide. This could show what the new corridor would look like. A lot more transparency. When we're redoing the roof, we can introduce natural light from above as well. Start to brand the school, make the student very proud of what they have. Next slide. You start to see into that breakout room that we identified that is off of a classroom. And you start to imagine how those spaces create a lot more flexibility for the students and the staff. A typical classroom where we're able to introduce a casework and making sure each classroom has a sink, the interactive boards, plenty of writable surfaces. You can see that breakout room in the corner that could easily be supervised by just one teacher in that space. And because these classrooms are a little larger, we're even able to introduce some different types of soft seating that may make for a good learning nook. This is a long corridor. All 4 of these wings are long corridors. So we want to make sure we take advantage of that, brand it, provide lockers that are actually of appropriate size and shape for today's students. Next slide. The science labs. Introduce the perimeter casework with the sinks and movable tables so that they can be brought together for lecture, instruction, small group, or pushed back up to the sinks for labs in a peninsula configuration. At the knuckle, where we would transition between our renovation and the addition, we have the opportunity to introduce some breakout spaces in the corridor that could be used for clubs or other program spaces. Now, I want to go back to this slide again that lists the numbers, because it's important that we become familiar with this and comfortable with this and reinforce again, this is seeking eligibility, and it is not tied to any bond amount. There is an expectation from RIDE that we would be doing at least half of the work that we are asking for them to review. So we're submitting 40 million. There's an expectation that you're doing at least 20. I want to call particular attention to the middle school, which is at 29. So where we're going to go into, next slide, each school, and we can talk about some possible cost savings in the future. I could tell you it would not be at the middle school. But let's start at Hathaway. The site work, maybe 1.1 million, and some mechanical, electrical equipment and controls around 200,000. These are project costs. We've approached them, next slide, keeping in mind some base bid and alternative opportunities so we can adjust the project costs as we need to, which we did in the last campaign as well. Melville, similar scope of work, lesser amount. This is about $1 million. Hathaway just has larger areas for site work. The high school. So this is a breakdown of the projects that we talked about. Roof and building envelope, 650. Some CTE interior renovations, 350. Restrooms, about $500,000 each. Site improvements, all of the site improvements, not just select areas, at $2 million. Additionally, mechanical, electrical, and building controls, another $2 million, and those lab renovations at $2.4 million. Next, the middle school, $29 million. That's broken down pretty simple. The roof and building envelope work is about $12 million. This is a large single-story building, a lot of floor area. The addition and renovations that I just showed you, $13 million. and then site improvements of about $3 million. Again, this is how we get to that $40 million submission, with the expectation that you're doing at least 20. The overall schedule we presented to the building committee and received the recommendation to come to you this evening yesterday. We're here this evening looking for a motion to approve the submission. I will be back again with a more focused presentation for town council on the 26th. The stage 2 submission is due February 15th. We would expect RIDE approval May 26th. Any bond vote considerations between February and July, and a bond vote in November. So the proposed financing for a $35 million bond was conducted by PFM, financial advisors for the town. And this approach would include this voter-approved bond, but could also include the town and school capital funds over the next 5 years. According to the PFM analysis, the town is currently rated AAA by S&P and AA2 by Moody's. And as of June 30th, 2025, the town had an outstanding general fund debt of about $31 million. The town's existing debt ratio is comparable to those of its peers in the AA2 rating category. If we're assuming a $35 million bond with a minimum state share eligible cost of 35% reimbursement and an estimated interest rate of 4.25% over 25 years, the average net debt service is about $1.5 million. Broken down over housing values, the tax rate impact per home value per year for $400,000 home is $125, $550,000 is $172, and $700,000 is $220. Again, a breakdown of our $40 million reimbursement eligibility request, again, not tied to any bond amount. And I'll leave it that for any discussion and questions.
Thank you, Mr. Conte. That was very exciting visualizations and work. Questions from the committee? Mr. Ferber.
One, why aren't we going for the whole 40 million versus the hope of getting 35 from a bond? Why don't we seek 40 million?
So,
And the se-
so this isn't really about the bond right now. This is getting all the projects approved by RIDE that could be reimbursed. They're two.
Right.
The town might go for 40 million. It might go for 20 million. We don't know. We want it to go for as much as it will.
Right, that's why we'd like for the submission to include $40 million of projects.
Okay. And my second question was, the roof at the middle school. I had forgotten what we paid to replace the roof at the high school, but that number seems, my recollection is that that's significantly more than we paid for the replacement of the high school roof, no?
Yes, but the high school, if you remember, we had done several sections of the roof in the past. So we were just doing not the entire roof like we would be doing at the middle school in one shot.
Other questions? So I know we at the school committee are more kind of in tune with the discussions and the reports of the building committee and everything. So I feel like we've been brought along well with this. And I really appreciate that you made the very important point that all taxpayers, I think we all know it on school committee. I hope the town council all knows it. But there's really a financial imperative that we pass this stage 2 capital plan. Unless we have a capital plan, RIDE will not provide any reimbursement for housing projects. Right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Diero, we've completed all of our approved projects. So anything that we put money into, it has to be all town dollars. That's why you're really doing a great job of having an extensive menu so that if and when we get that money, we can get the reimbursement. I think we really have to protect the taxpayer here so that something like the high school roof doesn't pop up on us. So I just hope everybody understands this needs to be expansive in order to ensure maximum reimbursement. And I think you did a great job pointing that out. I'd also point out it is incredibly time sensitive that we do this now, because RIDE only has 2 dates a year where we can submit these capital plans. So if we don't approve it now, and if the town council doesn't approve it now, then we have to push this off, how many, till September. And God forbid something happens to the middle school roof in between, we're stuck holding the bill. We need to make sure that this gets improved because it's very time sensitive. And so, again, I really appreciate you stressing that this is really about making an expansive list of what we want to do, and obviously envisioning the middle school as a place where we can really revitalize some wonderful bones of a building. I think that's very exciting. So I'll be voting in favor. Oh, Ms. Guillen.
Just to clarify, so with the timeline, if the bond was passed in November 2026, this would be a 5-year capital project, and that would initiate pretty close to the passage of the bond, right? Like, I don't know, maybe in January 2027.
At a high level, if a bond were to pass in November, I would expect to see maybe a bond sale in the summer of '27. Construction on these projects is multi-year, so it would, similar to what we have recently done, it's almost a 5-year campaign.
So was anything left out of this $40 million estimate that cannot wait 5 years? Because I think of like the septic issues we've had in the high school in the past.
Yeah, so specifically on the septic, that did fail on us 2 years ago, and we replaced it completely. So that's brand new. Hathaway's septic system recently underwent some corrective action and was inspected by the DEM and is now in good licensed order. I haven't heard of any issues. I think Melville's on a sewer system with the Navy, and I know the middle school septic system is inspected multiple times per year under contract. So, and I think we're good from a septic system standpoint. Clearly, when we did the facilities assessment, there was much more than $40 million worth of work that was identified. We've gone through that with many times and prioritized it, and we believe that these are the projects that rose to the top.
One more quick question. Optimistically, what's the best reimbursement rate we might expect from the state?
I fully expect 40%, but 35 is guaranteed.
So you're being very cautious, but like last time,
Yes.
we only promised, this last round, we only promised 35 and we ended up with
45.
45. So that was an extra 10% that we were able to get back to the town.
Yep.
But a lot of those incentives are expiring, or some of them are anyway.
Yes, I think we'll very 99.9% chance we'll get the additional 5, but I think that's it.
Okay. Other questions? All right. Well, seeing none, we have a motion, and who seconded? Did you second or you second?
No, I think the motion.
We didn't have, oh, no, I'm sorry, that was just our presentation. We have to go to business for that. Not yet, we're not there yet. I'm jumping the gun. But thank you so much, Mr. Conte. Thank you for coming and doing this, and we'll be watching in the audience when you're at the town council in a week. So moving on to approval of school committee minutes, please.
Move for the approval of the school committee meeting minutes of December 9th and the executive session meeting minutes of December 9th.
Second?
Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 6-0.
I move for approval of consent agenda.
Second?
All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 6-0. Do you need to list those policies, or do we need to state what they are? They're all, there's a page on the backup that has them, so I don't know if we need that on. Yeah, okay, good. Business, Item A, please.
I move for discussion and action on the 2026-2027 school year calendar.
Second.
Dr.
All right,
Viveros.
great, thank you. So this calendar is our first attempt at creating a calendar that supports our plans for the next school year. It's kind of crazy that we're already having those discussions in January. This calendar has, I'm just going to review some parts of the calendar. So this calendar has our staff returning for orientation on August 27th, with our kindergarten, 5th grade, and 9th grade students having their first day of school on August 28th. All students would come to school with a start date of August 31st. This calendar accounts for 2 election days, September 8th and November 3rd. It also reflects a plan to have, this year, we're not going to be recognizing both Yom Kippur and Good Friday. This draft does not include those holidays in this calendar, so we will be having students attend school. A holiday recess would run from December 24th through January 1st, with students returning on January 4th. Winter recess would run from February 15th through the 19th. Spring recess, April 19th through April 23rd. We're looking to provide 1 professional development day to teachers, which we're looking to have on May 28th. That would support a long weekend for the Memorial Day weekend for our families. Our last day of school would be on June 17th, and this would give us the opportunity for 1 traditional snow day if necessary before pivoting to our virtual learning plan. So we are still working on selecting the 6 early release days, but we do plan on including them in coming revisions. So we wanted to just get this out in front of you and to start having discussions on this calendar.
So you don't want us to vote on it then?
Yeah, it was more of a
Just a discussion,
I want it
okay.
out there if there were any concerns that the committee has, but I'd like to have those discussions, and then we'll work on getting the early release days and tightening it up with our quarters, trimesters, semesters, and putting all the final details on the calendar.
Can we do a professional development day on an election day? Like because it seems to me that that's awfully late in the year
We
for
could.
professional development.
Yeah, if the professional development day stays in our calendar, then I would absolutely support us.
Like I was
making
just
it-
saying in the primary day or something earlier in the
Sure.
year. I mean, I don't know what the needs
Yeah.
are for professional development, but that
Yeah.
then could either get the calendar out a day earlier and have
Yeah.
2 snow days or,
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. Thank you.
and obviously for the religious holidays, if children, don't come, it's an excused, obviously.
On the district end, it would be
Yeah.
excused.
So if anybody has any follow-up comments, please submit them to the superintendent. And for those watching, now's your chance. Have your input.
Excellent, thank you.
All right. B, please.
I move for approval of the Stage 2 capital improvement plan as presented in this evening's presentation.
Second.
Any more discussion? I think it's a great plan. I hope we all approve it. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 6-0. So 1 hurdle passed. Great. I have business C, please.
Move for discussion and action on budget transfers over $5,000.
Second.
Mr. Diero.
Yep. So there were 4 budget transfers over $5,000, totaling a little over 68,000. I will just point out that the one at the bottom, 109, I believe, Emily, you were asking a few weeks ago about the stipends for the duties that were transferred because of not filling the deputy superintendent position. There it is. That's the first half. There'll be another half later in the year.
And this clear stipend, other budget, this column on the far right, that's kind of new, right?
No, that's usually there.
Okay, fund first half, all right.
It's like a
Yeah.
little description that probably only I understand because I.
Yeah, that's okay. You know your teeth. Any other questions? we have to approve these. Did you move for approval or just discussion?
Just discussion.
Yeah.
Move for approval.
Good. Second,
Second?
all in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous, 6-0. Ms. McDade, what did you want to do with this?
Okay, so I move to table policy JE, student attendance and truancy.
You can just
um,
do that and it's tabled.
Oh, okay.
I think anybody, correct? Any committee member can move to table,
Okay.
right? Okay, back to policy. I had some comments for you, so I can just
Well,
give them
good.
to you then,
Yeah.
okay? All right, E, please.
I move for discussion of policy KHB, advertising in schools.
Uh, Second,
Second.
all right,
And this will be our second read. So
pretty much same.
yeah, same as what we saw before. There were some minor changes made to the text of the policy in order to clarify about use of school names or logos, and to keep from that happening.
Pretty
Yeah.
And does that advertising around the sports field go to the field account? Or what, does that go to the gate receipts? Where does that go?
It does not go to gate receipts, so I'm not sure where it goes, if there's advertising.
Those banners on the fences.
Our actual page at Boosters, or one of the 501c3, so I'm not sure exactly.
I think that's odd because I don't think that should be going to the boosters. I think if it's, I mean, not that they don't do great work for the schools and everything, they really do. But if it's having to fit with our policy, I don't think I ever remember having to approve a banner or hearing banners approved. So I think that's something we might want to.
It's not only, my understanding is some of the banners that are along the fence in front of the visitor stand, I think are fine according to the policy, but I was told by somebody, one of the guy that considers the turf field his domain, he said the banners that are placed elsewhere are not really properly placed. I don't know, but in any event.
We'll look into this.
Thank you, thank you.
Also,
And I honestly, I think it's a great way for the community to support the schools. I just feel like it ought to be, maybe, I don't know, coming through somebody's office.
I guess
Yeah.
they probably just showed up and put up the banners.
Okay, well, something else to consider.
since I haven't been walking at the track, I can't keep track of these things anymore. But these banners are not often affixed as strongly as they should be, like
Ooh,
they
we're
tend to
off
be affixed
topic,
with,
aren't we? Sorry, we are now off the policy. I need to bring us back in. Sorry, I know the lawyer's sitting right there. She's gonna get mad at me. So so with the policy though, and the advertising, do we need to have something in there that says revenue goes to the schools?
Okay.
I mean, or is that, I think maybe we need to find out where that revenue's going or
Yeah,
if there's revenue coming in.
okay, should we, okay, I'll move to,
No, don't take, we don't,
Not
we're
yet?
not voting on anything yet.
Right,
It's just
right.
discussion. So you just had a comment.
okay. All right, so
Interesting.
we'll take it back to the committee, work it out.
All right. Reports, Mr. Duro.
Okay, this is the year-to-date December report. Nothing out of the ordinary to report. We're still on budget for revenues and expenditures.
Looks pretty good. Okay, budget transfers under 5,000, please.
There were 7 budget transfers under 5,000. In total, they were $5,019, all very immaterial. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you for reporting those out. We are going to reconvene an executive session, so we will not be formally adjourning yet. But before we reconvene an executive session, I would just like to point out that there is a very important meeting on January 26th. That is our joint town council school committee budget meeting, which kicks off the formal budget discussions for next year, as well as the very important town council vote on stage 2 capital plan submission. So I know I plan to be there. I hope we have members from the community and others there to support the schools. And then there's a learning walk that the administration and others are doing at Hathaway on the 15th. All right. So can I have a motion to return into exec?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous 6-0. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and we will see you whenever our next meeting is. Here. Good question.
Yeah. So it'll be a bit longer. That's look good. Yeah.